It's coming to me hot off the press. Okay, so greetings to the divine family, greetings and love and light to the chosen ones, okay, that send love and light back to me. So this is unfiltered, okay? This is unedited, and I actually really, really love this. And I just know that this is going somewhere great. So definitely, I see a beautiful white light reflecting right now. So I know this is divine. But I'm going to continue on. I literally, if you don't know the actress Megan Good, she is a very beautiful American Negro Indian woman. She has basically a movie called The Intruder. It is a very, very good movie. Some places you can find it for free. You can rent it, you can download it, etc. She is playing with her co-host, Michael Ealy. He is a very attractive biracial man. But he looks, to be, he looks Negro, but he's just, he has Negro-like hair. He's one of the biracials that you wouldn't know that he was biracial unless he told you, or unless you like really looked into his eyes, because he has really, really like blue eyes. And, certain biracials have blue eyes, other ones don't. But it's different because certain Aboriginals or originals of the world have blue eyes in different places, like the original Australians, the originals of Papua New Guinea. They have that trait where the recessive genetics come through their bloodline, and they have blue eyes, they have blonde hair of all types of hair textures, etc. But I don't want to get lost. I don't want to get lost on a tangent. I want to stay focused at basically the message at hand. So in this movie, The Intruder, this older Caucasian guy, the clip that I seen was, they basically in the movie, they were representing an American Negro couple. Okay. And they were well off. They lived in a city. They lived in New York. She was a journalist. He was some sort of investor, I believe. And he made a very, very, very good money, etc. And so he was able to afford the luxuries of life. So this particular, older Caucasian male, he had a home, in the outskirts of, the city of, New York and New York City. And it was maybe some hours away, beautiful land, beautiful, antique type home. Everything is not modern at all, but it was just a very nice, type of, just like one of those real estates that would be a gym, giving, vineyard energy, and very secluded. So basically he's supposed to be staging and selling the home that he raised his two children in, and that he married his wife in, and that, she ended up dying, and he was trying to sell the home. But it just showed that he had a very, very strong emotional attachment, not only to the home and the memories, but to the land. And he did not want to let it go. So I'm seeing it a little bit differently as I was seeing it when I watched it, even though it was a great movie. So symbolically, this is represented as the Caucasian, the colonist, the colonizer, not wanting to unhand the land that him and or his ancestors took from the original Americans. Now, in this movie, it was seen as, okay, well, they were buying the land, so it's not like they were coming back and they said, hey, this is our land, we're going to take it, violently, how a lot of the times how these colonists took land from the original Negro natives, etc. But he did not want to let it go. So when they first got to the property, I just recently saw the clip recently, and they walked to the back, and she was looking at the nature, and she saw the deer. Okay, this is the same deer that, oh my God, I'm seeing it. Thank you, Spirit. This is the same deer that was present in the Leave the World Behind movie, when the group of deer started to surround the original Negro Indian little girl. See, the deer is connected to the land, and the deers represent purity, divinity, okay, and they bring blessings, okay. So it was represented, oh my god, I see it in the spirit. It was represented as the blessing being returned back to the original inhabitants of the land in that movie. And I didn't even catch it the other times that I watched it. And he shot the deer once, and then he walked up on the deer and shot the deer again. And it was so brutal. It was so brutal. It was the same level of brutal. If you haven't seen these movies, go see these movies with Leave the World Behind. Okay, Leave the World Behind is a more recent movie. If you see the movie Leave the World Behind, they use Julia Roberts, as, the representation of, the colonists, the Caucasian, women, men, whatever. And American Negro Indian woman that was there. See, it all had to do, the similarities is the lands of America. The similarities is two bloodlines. The similarities is the deer bringing back the blessing. And then you see in The Intruder, definitely take, because this is so important, and the Holy Spirit just revealed it to me. He killed the deer brutally. Okay, shot it and then shot it again. Okay, very brutal, very inhumane. Because he sensed. You get what I'm saying? It was symbolism. The symbol is always in the symbolism. Okay, it's always in the symbolism. Like Julia Roberts jumping back and forth, and Leave the movie behind when the started to surround the little Negro American Indian little girl whose father was well off, okay, and they were living in their mansion, okay, and you could just tell that the Caucasian family that came in there to stay temporarily, they started saying, well, we can't leave, we can't go, they're like, well, this should be ours, you see. So you start seeing that privilege pop in for other people's possessions, other people's homes, okay, and that's that white privilege, okay, that is being seen in both sides. See, you can't go into a person's land, take their homes, take their resources, kidnap and enslave them, and then turn around and say, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No, it has to balance out. And this is why Babylon has to fall. Also, with the movie The Intruder, he was very possessive of the home, of the land. He did not want to let go of it. Because a lot of the times, a lot of Caucasians, especially in America, of the colonist bloodline, it doesn't really matter if they're new or old colonists, they want to own land, and they love capitalism, and they love ownership of homes, this and that, because that is their identity. That's their identity, along with white supremacy. Okay, that is what they live and die for. It doesn't matter if they are not blatantly racist to the ones that are blatantly racist towards other types of people, especially a special hatred for a lot of Black Americans, okay? And that hatred is because we are the original Americans, and they know that our land, we're still here on our land, and the land that they are claiming to be from and to own, okay, and to have ownership of, it is being ripped from them, okay? And it's a spiritual thing that is going on here, and it's just playing out on this world stage. But I had to get up here and bring this analysis because it needed to be addressed, because I didn't even see the similarities that were right before my eyes. You see, once you evolve at 911 on the clock, okay, I've been up here for 9 minutes and 11 seconds. You see, it's all about symbolism with these people. Everything is symbolism. You can see the hand gestures. You can see everything's about symbolism and masonry. Okay. But in that movie with Megan Good, her and her husband were of means. They were not poor. They were not living in poverty. They were not struggling. They had resources. They were able to afford the home that this Caucasian male was selling, that he really didn't want to sell, that he had some sort of obsession with. And if you see the movie Intruder, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's absolutely amazing. But I start looking at the subtle communication and the body language, okay, with how he was attracted to Megan Good. He shook her husband's hand, and he shook her hand, and he held her hand a little longer than it was allowed. He started to look at her and, oh, she's beautiful, and he couldn't deny it. And that is another thing that happened with a lot of colonist males when they came over here to the Americas. They were obsessed with American Negro Indian women and their beauty. That's another thing that they like to try to push down in society. They were like, oh my God, these women are so beautiful in their natural state. We love these women. These women smell so good. They look so good. That was why during the period of enslavement, where they was enslaving free people, they were stealing women and young girls, and they were SAing them. Okay. So it all connects back with symbolism. 111 on the clock. And it was just a level like of it's just because the women are connected to the land. Okay, us as original American Negro Indian, we're connected to the land. We carry the matriarchal genes that go back millions of years. We are connected to the land spiritually, energetically, on a solar level. Whether the collective of our women know it or not, we're not African. We're not connected to Africa. And there's a difference in our bone structure and our bloodline and also our features. That's another thing. So it's so many different layers, but I want to jump back to Julia Roberts before it slips my mind. When the American Negro Indian girl, and both of these American Negro families have money now. They have means. Okay, one is trying to buy the home on the land, on the property, and the other one owns the home and is an architect that actually had the home built how he wanted it to be built. Now, mind you, they had a tribal African male playing this role, but it's really an American Negro man. Okay, he's playing the character of an American Negro male with money and with means, and so you have to see through the symbolism. But when the deers were coming, and the deers were literally the deers were represented as angels, okay? Because, real angels have the ability to shapeshift, not into only human form, but into the form of animals as well. And these deers, if you watch the movie Leave the World Behind, these weren't regular deers. Okay, these were not regular deers. These were angels that were cloaked, and they were coming to bring the blessing, okay, to bring the favor and to bring it back and put it into the hands of the original Aboriginal Americans, the original American Negro Indians, because this is our home. This is the home of our ancestry. This is the home of the original matriarch of the world and the kingdoms of the world. Order has to be restored. So when Julia Roberts looked and seen how they were coming to bring her the blessing, and the American Negro Indian little teenager did not know or was ignorant to what was actually going on, she jumped in the way. She jumped in between her and the deers disguised as angels to bring and bestow the blessing upon her, okay, to return the favor back upon her and her bloodline. Julia Roberts acknowledged what was going on, and she was seeing that it was a spiritual wealth transfer. So Julia Roberts acknowledged what was going on quickly. It didn't take her long, and she jumped in the middle to intervene the wealth transfer with the American Negro Indian woman, teenager, and she started acting crazy and screaming and yelling and throwing her arms up in the air like it was some sort of freaking bear attack, when these deers were not even really deers. They were disguised as angels, but they knew that American Negro Indian girl was not going to be able to perceive them coming to her in their original form. So they came to her as deers. And Julia Roberts, represented as the Caucasian, represented as the colonizer, represented as the colonist that came over here with one thing in mind: to get the land from the original Aboriginal Americans, the copper colored Americans. She jumped into Caucasian white woman mode, okay, to stop something that she was not able to stop. And for even more symbolism, 15:15 on the clock, even more symbolism, so-called Barack Obama and so-called Michelle Obama produced this movie. Barack Obama knows that he's not an American Negro Indian. He's African and Caucasian. He's a biracial. He is not of our bloodline. If he's that, because, we know what happens with a lot of these bloodlines, and a lot of these, we know that he's a part of the bloodline of Trump and all of the rest of the Caucasian, quote unquote, presidents. Okay. Behind the scenes, they're cousins, they're blood relatives. Okay. It's just to the general public that we think that they're just all Caucasian or they're just different. No, they're not. They're a part of a specific bloodline, and they are not voted into office. They are put into office. And the original people that live in America have nothing to do with them getting into office, staying in the office, and being reelected into office. They just give people the illusion of inclusion to confuse and to trick them into thinking that their vote matters, when it's really just about energy harvesting and siphoning their energy. Because they've already chosen the president. They said Trump was going to be the last president, and here he is back in office. What they don't want the American, people to know, people living in America to know, confirmation that card just keeps going off. What they don't want the people living in America to know is that Trump has been the president of the American Republic. It's two sides of the same bird for a reason. He just temporarily gave Biden, so he didn't give it to him, but it was orchestrated for him to basically play the president, out in the open, as far as with the U.S. corporation. That's the only difference. But I just want to paint this picture of truth to let people know that everything that seems true, that appears true, is not. It's not. And the U.S. system has to fall. Babylon has to fall, because the original chosen people of the Americas, the original Americans, have been mistreated, abused, and beat down and destroyed within this system, so that all foreigners from all places could be afforded the right to come over here and to live an American dream at the original Americans' expense. And I am not going to put all of us in the same boat, because we're not all the same on a spiritual level, even if we are connected by DNA as far as the original Americans of America. I am not including those that are a part of any and all secret fraternities and sororities and organizations where they have sold their soul to the devil. I am not including them, because they are a part of the system. They are just as bad as the Klansmen and the Klanswomen and the people that stand up. They help to uphold Caucasian degeneracy within the system. The Boule Negroes, they are not of us. They are going down. Those bloodlines, whether in these secret societies openly or behind the scenes doing rituals and sacrificing people for money and for greed and for youth and for resources, they're all going down, and their judgment day is here. And I'm gonna just be real with you. Greetings. I have seen, family members that are literally in my family that were associated with the same types of things that these so-called people that have have sold their soul to Satan. I have seen their fall, and it's not just the system falling. Okay, it's the covenants falling, the covens falling that have been going against the righteous people in the Americas and upholding the wickedness. Okay, that everybody sees. through all of the groups. It goes based on energy, who you pledge your allegiance to. That is what this is about. This U.S. corporation is falling, but all of the people that sold their souls behind the scenes and took vows of silence behind the scenes and gave themselves over to the Catholic Church, which is the root of all evil, and Satanism behind the scenes, they're all going down, not only in America and a part of the U.S. system, but globally. This is a global cleansing. This is a global judgment. And it's going to happen on a microcosmic level to a microcosmic level, where you start seeing people just lose everything. And you're wondering, how is this person that is just so successful, this person that is just so wealthy, and this person that just comes from all of this old, so-called old money and generational wealth, you're going to start seeing these people penniless. Because they didn't get their money they didn't just work hard and get their money. No, they sold their souls for it. And so this is the separation. The fall is going to expose all of those people behind the scenes. All of those wicked, evil, Black preachers in America that get $8 billion a year, but the so-called Black American community is in shambles. It's by design. They're not given this money to help, to build up their communities. They're only given that money to help tear their communities down. And a lot of these corrupted politicians, officials, pastors, etc., they're going down with the ship. They're sinking like the Titanic. They can't separate themselves. The entertainers like Diddy, etc. Diddy wasn't the only one. There's a whole lot of Caucasian individuals and individuals behind the scenes that are going down right with him, but he's going to be the face of it. They just make him the face of it. The microcosm to the macrocosm. Things are shifting and changing at fire speed, okay, in this reality right now, because the wicked have ruled and judged, and now it's their time to be judged, and they have done enough wickedness for generations after generations, and they've reached their max. 2222 on the timer. Shout out to Sister Myra. She's a spiritual teacher. To the same extent of the pain in the physical realm, and the suffering and the oppression and the suppression, it's to the same extent in the spiritual realm of our reward, of our abundance, of our favor, of our protection, of our anointings, of our safety. Our people, the so-called Black Americans in America, have been treated so horribly by so many people, including the traitors of their own, for long enough. And now we are being elevated to our royalty. We're being elevated into our true heritage again. We're being reawakened. We're being given the throne in the spiritual realm. And whatever happens in the spirit is gonna have to manifest in the physical. Now, all of a sudden, is when people are going to say, hey, what we need y'all, this is not rocket science, and it's clearly playing out all across the states and literally all across the world at this point. We are the people that, as the chosen ones out of the so-called spiritually dead Black Americans that have been beaten down by so many different angles, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, by the so-called U.S. satanic and demonic system. And all of these foreign other entities with their hands in the pot to tear us down, to keep us down, to keep us dumb, to keep our people on drugs, to keep our people ignorant, to keep our people getting on their knees and worshiping Caucasian Jesus. When that image is never has been the image of God, because it can't be. It's blasphemous. So now we're seeing it in the spirit. We're seeing the fall. And now you see all these people getting a little bit of pressure, and where are the Black people is what they're saying. Where are the Black Americans? We're sorry, Black Americans, the Asians, the Caucasians, the so-called Eurasian Mexicans. We're sorry. Either it's something is race-bait content, They're trying to get our attention. They're trying to get us to respond, or they're apologizing. They're begging. They're pleading. They're like, it's not the same as us going out in the streets as marching as when you go out there and march. But we are no longer putting ourselves on the train tracks for groups of people that hate us, for groups of people that don't care about what happens to us at all, as long as they're okay, as long as they could benefit off of the resources and our resources that are owed to us as being the originals of America. They have not cared about anything that has gone on with us as it did not affect their communities, their families, affect their ability to have jobs, affect their ability to have resources, affect their ability to eat, affect their ability to do this and to do that and to go on with daily life. How many situations and stories have we seen in the US and on the news of American Negro Indian women and girls being murdered, being trafficked, being abused, being organs being harvested in these hospitals, targeted in many different sections of society? See, has been allowed to happen. And now we're at the point where it's too much blood that has been shed. It's too many lives that have been taken and sacrificed to this system. And it no longer can function anymore. It no longer can stand anymore. It's done enough killing. It's done enough murder. It's done enough injustice to the original people of the Americas, the Negroes, the ones that everybody loves to imitate and take from and appropriate openly and behind the scenes, but everybody loves to hate as well, openly and behind the scenes. So we're seeing a spiritual transfer. We're seeing the original heirs of the throne of America being elevated in the spirit, and that's changing things. We're coming into our ancient consciousness, our ancestral wisdom. We're no longer listening to the U.S. corporation that has been brainwashing us since birth. The time has run out. We are no longer listening to foreigners on our land tell us that we're from Africa, that we're less than, that they're better than us, when everything in a lot of these people's genetics are recessive, that they're more intelligent than us, but they had to use and steal our ancestors in the near past patents in order to get rich. They had to steal our people and steal our land and enslave us and steal our identities to even be anything, to even get money, to even get old money. But you're better than us? Absolutely not. We are the original heirs to the throne. We are the original agriculturists of the Americas. We are the original Tamerican Indians. If you want to say American Indians, since the Eurasians are running around trying to steal that and talk about their native, we're going to say American Negro Indians, so you know the differentiation. Because all of this blasphemy and all of this lying and all this, you guys are just black people. We're not listening to that shit no more. You could say it until you're blue in the face. You guys could say we're lying, but you can't validate your claims. But we have documentation of not only Caucasian explorers that traveled into the America that saw a whole landmass of Negroes, even before the Eurasians started to walk across the land bridge. But nobody wants to look at the real history. The so-called Black Europeans that came over here and said the exact same thing, who were explorers. Nobody wants to look at the primary sources stating that we are the original Americans of America and that we're owed something way more, and we have not been paid yet. And that is why this system is falling, because all of this is coming back to us. Yes, we have to be in our righteous state. Yes, we have to be connected to the universe. Yes, we have to be in alignment with ourselves and the ancestors and our energy bodies and divinity. Yes, so we are gifted and we are an energetic and energetic match to take the throne again, as many of our ancestors ruled the throne, and our women. I want to make that clear. Many of our American Indian women, the Americans of America, yeah, our foremothers ruled matriarchies for hundreds of thousands of years. We're not your black bitch. We're not your black whore. We're not your mule. We're not your pack rat. We're not just going to continue to do and give our energy to every person, place, or thing but ourselves. We're not doing it. And that includes the agents within our own race. We're not doing it. You show that you're a traitor, we're going to cut your fucking head off, just like back in the day. We're not accepting it. That's what used to happen back in the day. You used to be hanged, or you used to get your head cut the fuck off if you've been seen and acknowledged as a traitor. And moving forward, we're not going to accept traitors of our own kind. We're not accepting them back. We're letting them go along with any and every other group that they chose to go with and be with. We are not lesser than, we're not third class, and we're not even second class. Bitch, we're first class. And we're taking our first class privilege in the spirit, and it's going to be manifested in the physical. Yes, I'm talking my shit because I deserve to. I'm talking it for my ancestors, for my foremothers that didn't have the ability to speak and declare themselves as loud as I'm declaring it. They are moving through me, and we are accepting our land, our throne, and everything that was taken from us, plus tax and interest, will be returned to us, the real heirs of the throne. I see too many pictures and photographs, authentic photographs of American Negro Indian women and men with money, with wealth. So a lot of this misinformation with they're like, oh, they're all slaves. Oh, they're all just poor. They're just this. They're just that. The Victorian age was not that long ago, sweetie, darling. We had our own homes. We had our own farms. We had our own plantations that we own. We are the originals of this land, and we look better than a lot of the Caucasians that were taking pictures at that time. The Renaissance era, the eras where we had our generational wealth. We had our old money. And it's all going to be returned to us again. We are here to claim it. We are no longer giving any government. We're no longer giving any institutions, any so-called churches. We're not giving any of them authority and power to say who we are and how we should live our lives. We're no longer doing it. I'm looking at people with my spiritual eyes open, and I see them unedited, no filter. And I give all praise to the Most High and the ancestors and the divine for allowing me the privilege to be able to see through the illusion. The original royals will and shall rule again. Who do you guys think the American Moors are? The Moorish people. They're our bloodline. They ruled the world. Like, come on. The original royals. We are. So when we look at today's society and how this shit is going to hell in a handbasket, at least the U.S. corporation is, and we're like, no wonder they don't want us to see ourselves as royal. No wonder they have a problem with us being able to afford, certain lifestyles and land and certain privileges, etc., because it reminds them of something that was normal in the not so distant past, where we had more wealth and affluence and status than a lot of these colonists that came over here, so-called white. We are the original whites, the original American sovereign in the lands of the Americas. And we want our stuff back. And not only do we want it back, it is going to be ripped from under your feet and removed from your hands. This is something that no one can stop. This is justice. This is justice for the earth, justice for our sacred lands, justice for our ancestors, justice for our animals and our wild beasts that have been hunted unjustly, murdered and slaughtered. This is for all of our justice. And as I live and as I breathe and as I bring these words to you, we are seeing a better future, a better reality. But in order for us to see our better future, live our better future, and experience our better reality, the old must be destroyed for the new to come in. Peace to the collective. Thank you for this wonderful, listening to my wonderful channel message. Intelligent, intellectual rant, unedited, okay? And yeah, I can be a little blunt at times. I'm working on it, but yeah, truth is truth. The truth does not change. The originals of America do not change. So many people stand up and say they're the originals and these are blacks or these are Africans and those are the no. Especially when you are a foreign group of people that are getting paid, that have sold your souls. Your ancestors have sold your souls to the Catholic Church, to these satanic organizations and societies, in order to be put above us and to get trinkets. And now, excluding the, those of our kind that have fallen for that same bullshit as well and given themselves over to Satanism, the real royals are taking the throne in righteousness, and we are doing it unapologetically. We are not crying when we see the wicked being punished on the earth and in America. We are not. We will not cry when we see those of our own kind that have given themselves over to Satan, to demonic forces to do what they want to do with them for $1.15. We have no sympathy for not only them Negroes, but we have no sympathy for bodies and collective groups of people that openly hate us and that secretly hate us and that plan and plot our demise for their elevation. Judgment is upon you. Judgment is upon you all. Judgment is upon you. Until we meet again, peace.